Chair now recognizes Representative Carter for 5 minutes, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank all of you for being here. Obviously, extremely important. I continue to say that innovation is going to be the key for us. And when you say innovation, a lot of people think when you're talking about the climate that we're talking about renewable fuels, and we are, but this is also innovation. This is extremely, extremely important. I want to start with you, Dr. Harmon. Lancetech has a plant near my district in Soperton, Georgia, so right outside my district. And whereas I have not had the opportunity to visit it yet, I do plan on doing that and want to go by and see exactly what you're doing. And from what I understand, it's a very large operation, and we appreciate your investment in our area. Tell me, obviously it looks like you see a viable opportunity here to create these products from waste gases. What kinds of industrial gases and waste emissions are you utilizing here?
So our first commercial plant is directly converting steel mill emissions into ethanol. We have projects in development around the world, actually, which use refinery gases, ferroalloy gases, which are similar to steelmaking gases. These are gases that are rich in carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, and hydrogen, depending upon the source.
Do you see other kinds of gases like this being able to be utilized?
There are other industrial sectors for which the technology is also applicable. Calcium carbide would be one. There are emissions in the chemical sector as well. It's a very broad opportunity.
You mentioned in your testimony about gas fermentation and the use of carbon dioxide to develop beneficial products such as this. What do you see as the future of that?
So just to be clear, the gas fermentation relies not just on carbon dioxide, but carbon monoxide. We see this as very broadly deployable. Even in the U.S., taking strictly the gases from industry that are accessible to us today, we could build 33 plants based just on 60% of that gas.
Wow.
And each of those plants would create probably 1,000 jobs during construction, maybe 240 during operation, and that takes into account the multipliers that were referenced earlier. But these are substantial operations in areas that need that kind of.
And see, this is the point I try to make. I look at this as being a tremendous opportunity for us. You talk about creating jobs right here. Tremendous opportunity. One last thing, Dr. Harmon. You mentioned how federal research had actually assisted and helped kickstart this type of technology. Can you just expand upon that for just a second?
Certainly. If we talk about our site in Georgia, for example, there we have, in fact, a pilot operation that's demonstrating our next generation bioreactor technology. And that technology originated at small scale with support from ARPA-E. And with support from ARPA-E, we were then able to scale that up to a larger, what we call a field pilot. At the very moment, sticking with Georgia, we are in fact designing a 10 million gallon per year facility to produce jet and diesel fuel from ethanol that's brought from all parts of the U.S. And that is, it's a pre-commercial demonstration, but in fact it will be commercially viable. And if you are aware of the scale of some of the renewable fuel and sustainable aviation fuel initiatives, this is a substantial opportunity that can be replicated everywhere. And that technology was developed and scaled up with support from the Department of Energy's Bioenergy Technologies Office.
So government created the environment for you to succeed in. That's the point we've been trying to make. Thank you for verifying that. Very quickly, Mr. Beggar, I wanted to ask you, you mentioned the X Prize Foundation. Can you just tell me about that? Explain that to me.
Sure, Mr. Chairman, Representative. X Prize Foundation is sort of a philanthropical foundation that has offered a lot of engineering competition prizes over about the last 20 years. Probably the one that they're most well known for is SpaceX. That started out of an X Prize competition. And so they've done a lot around public health and water, these sorts of things, but they have one now that is really focused on carbon utilization. So 3-4 years ago, I think there was 47 teams from 7 or 8 different countries that put forth proposals to best pull CO2 out of a power plant stream and convert it into some other marketable product.
Great, great. Just another example of how the private sector is helping us in this goal that we all share in. So thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I yield back.